Tom, let's start with the deadline today that's looming for Trump to post literally $500 million bond just for the pleasure of appealing this fraudulent case against him. I really loved the fact that on CNN they were speculating, well, he's got the money. Mar-a-Lago is worth, $500 million. Wasn't the overvaluation of Mar-a-Lago part of the criminal charges here? And the state of New York suggested it was only worth $18 million, which is laughable. Now they're saying, oh, you got plenty of money in that real estate deal. I mean, it's undermining the very essence of their so-called case.
Well, the less salivating at this is an indication of where we are in terms of our justice system.
Yeah,
I tell you, if the courts don't take a step here to rein this abuse in, it would be a tremendous failure, and that's a charitable way of putting it. I think this is a human rights violation. I think this is a civil rights violation, and $1 billion, according to the New York Times, he would likely have to put up in order to get a bond under the current system, and it looks like he wouldn't even be able to get that done because the market is so skittish in this regard. It's a very narrow market that provides bonds for these types of circumstances, and there's not like there's anyone who's been damaged. It's not like there's been a showing that he's going to flee the jurisdiction. Any of the sorts of things that would warrant him being forced to put up a bond in these circumstances.
Right.
And the extraordinary and unprecedented nature of the application of the law here. I mean, the courts have got to do something. And if they don't, it shows you that the politicization isn't just limited to Angora. It's limited to it's spread throughout the entire New York court system. And maybe the federal courts might step in. But I tell you that we're at this stage is a terrible blow, again, to our Republican form of government. This is Putin-like, what's going on up there. And what really frustrates me as I was thinking about this, guys, is how the Republican Congress has done nothing about this.
Yeah.
They saw what was going on. They fully funded. There was no haircut to New York in the civil rights of Donald Trump. What's the consequence of the Letitia James for doing this? I think she probably is going to get more campaign contributions from the left, and you can guarantee. I fear that other politicians are looking at what she did and may abuse their political opponents similarly to get some political gain from it.
Well, Tom, we saw it with Fani Willis. I mean, it was very obvious corruption and abuse, what she did, and the judge let her slide. And as far as I know, the Georgia Bar and any legal organizations haven't in any way acted to disbar her or offer any punishment. So, I mean, you look at Letitia James, Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, I mean, this abuse is going to continue, and the legal profession itself is in real trouble. Why don't these governing bodies do anything to sort of rein this abuse in?
Well, at least in Georgia, it shows in some ways that sometimes it isn't partisan. I mean, you have anti-Trump Republicans in Georgia who haven't taken strong steps at the governor's level and the attorney general's level, and some even in the legislature to rein this in. But we've got it going on here in D.C. as well. I mean, Jack Smith equals Alvin Bragg, equals Letitia James, equals Fani Willis.
Yep.
They're all cut from the same cloth in terms of ethics, in terms of abusing the powers entrusted to them to violate the civil rights of their political opponents. And, my view is we should be talking about criminal investigations and bar investigations, as you note, of all of these folks, not just because of, the Fani Willis ethics issues, but their willingness to abuse office to interfere in our elections.
We're speaking with Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. And, Tom, I see that Judicial Watch is suing the Fulton County. Well, it's not Fulton County, excuse me, but there's so much going on in Georgia. You're suing the University of Georgia Police Department because they have not released audio of the 911 call that Laken Riley made when she was under attack during her brutal murder. And I appreciate you putting out that lawsuit. Those are public records, and usually this sort of thing is made public. Why are they keeping it quiet? Do they know the political damage that it will cause? Are they consciously trying to protect Joe Biden and his border policies?
Well, those are the sorts of questions that arise when it's a kind of a straightforward process that is thwarted here, which is the release of the 911 audio. I mean, this is almost always immediately released. In Georgia law, it's accepted that, sometimes you can't get documents because the police are using a piece of evidence or something to proceed. But like initial reports, 911 audios, those aren't covered by the law, and there's an exemption for it. And, when agencies don't do the right thing, especially on a simple matter like this, there are two reasons: either competence or politics.
Tom
and
Fitton,
I don't think they were incompetent.
No, it's all politics. They're not. They can't all be this incompetent. Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, they do the real oversight in this town. JudicialWatch.org, and he was a nerd in high school. But don't call him that. If you see him now, don't call him that, because he will put you in a headlock and you will not breathe again the rest of your life. Tom, always good to talk to you, my friend. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Larry.
Take care. I'm just kidding. He would not.
Nice yours.
Would not hurt a fly. Would not hurt a fly.
I'm a boy nerd still.
Oh.